Worst thing that you can do is finally find a good guy, and then you get comfortable with all the great things that he's doing for you. You don't show appreciation. And it is so easy to make a man feel appreciated because they literally never get compliments. I mean, you could compliment him on the most random thing. Like, you could tell him, "I like your neck," and that would last him a year. Trust me.
Dating after 30 is easy. It's like riding a bike. But the bike's on fire. And the ground's on fire, and everything's on fire because you're in hell.
Day 872 with no sex. I ate 2 Popeye's biscuits with no water just so that it would choke me.
And this is the message that a lot of modern women are waking up to these days, guys, is the fact that if they don't treat you the way you deserve to be treated, you will walk, okay? And there are a number of content creators like myself out there that are telling guys to walk when you are being mistreated. The reason why we're telling you this is because you can. You can walk onto something better, bigger and better things, whether it's another girlfriend, if that's what you want, okay, which is most guys, or it's just something better, like you want to work on your business, your career, yourself. You know, you want to get in better shape, right? You can walk at any time. And you know what? Anytime you want to come back to dating, you can pick up the pieces like that. You can, right? Whereas for women, they don't have that luxury. And they're starting to realize that they don't. As much as feminism and the leftist mafia out there wants to sell them on the fact that they can, sleep around, rack up a body count, do whatever you want, and life will always be gravy. There will always be a man there waiting for you, a good, high-value man. He'll be there to sweep you off your feet. They're realizing that that is a lie. Okay, they're realizing that that is just, they've been sold a bill of goods. That's not true. And the reason why, what they're seeing, the reason why they're starting to wake up to it and see it's not true is because thanks to social media, they are able to see their peers, other women who are their age, essentially yapping on their Snapchat or their IG about how miserable they are, about how dating in their 30s sucks, about how it's almost impossible to find a guy. I mean, wait till these girls get older, right? Wait till they get older. I mean, if they were really smart, they would start watching vids from chicks who are like older women, I should say, who are, 10, 20 years older. That's what they should be doing, and seeing that they're still complaining about the same thing, only now they're even more depressed. They're taking more antidepressants. They're more resentful of men than ever, and they're becoming more reliant on government. I mean, that's that's the, that's the path that a lot of these chicks end up on when they don't cash in the chips in their 20s and get married and have a family. Essentially, because you don't have a husband, the government really does become your husband, right? It does. I mean, there's just mountains and mountains of evidence out there to support that fact. It's beyond the data, right? Beyond the data. These chicks just turn the government into their husband, their family, their daddy. Why do you think, like, so many of these, say, not to get political, but so many, like, the woke mafia and all these leftists and feminists are so, they have such a boner for bigger and bigger government, because that's become their husband. And I mean, really, at the core of it, not to get into like conspiracy theory, but if you really research on the original roots of feminism, I mean, that was really what the plan was to remove the father from the household and replace him with Big Daddy government, right? Which they have essentially accomplished. Right? There are a lot of, I'd say most women out there don't have a man. And I mean, they've been brainwashed into believe that that's chains, right? You're in chains, you're being oppressed. And they're just too dumb and too stupid to see that they've been sold a lemon, right? That they've been just sold on a lie. And they've really cheated themselves out of happiness and fulfillment and life, right? Because you ever talk to these chicks? I mean, they're just so angry. They're so hostile. You could watch a number of their videos on YouTube. They're just never happy. They're never smiling. They're constantly like walking around with their friggin' picket signs, angry about something, and if that cause is over, then they find another cause to be angry about, because that is now their purpose in life. When you have no purpose, you'll find a purpose. Usually it's a destructive purpose, right? It's kind of very similar to how if a kid does not pull himself out of the ghetto, right, and find a purpose, he's going to make crime his purpose, robbing people, raping people, just, like doing bad things. That's going to become his purpose. So it's no different with these females, right? They just never wake up to it, unfortunately, because they lack so much self-awareness. Regardless, what this chick was saying is 100% true, is the fact that, women are starting to realize that, hey, if you want to hang on to this guy, if you don't want to just be in his situationship, or you don't want to just be a side chick, you know what? You need to treat him better. I mean, that is the best thing you could do as a female. If you can't improve your looks, if you can't get any hotter than you already are, or any better looking or more attractive, and if you can't get in any better shape than you are, and you're still having problems hanging on to these guys, the best thing that you can do for yourself, the best thing you can do to keep this guy, is to simply treat him with value, right? Just treat him better. Stop being so selfish, right? It reminds me of this chick that I had on my dating rotation, when I had my 6-girl dating rotation. This chick, I mean, she was even shocked that I got rid of her, because she was a really good looking chick, right? Brunette, blue eyes. Well, actually, she used to be blonde. I know she went brunette, but very attractive girl, gets hit on all the time, and we got along for the most part. But the thing is like, she always, even though she didn't really say it, she acted as if like she was a prize, right? And she was probably the oldest one in my dating rotation. She was like in her late 20s. She was cusping on 30. Right, she's now in her 30s, by the way, and she is still single. But when we were dating, she was in her late 20s. I met her when she was about like 20, I want to say like 27. Okay, 27, 28, somewhere around there. So she was already heading towards the end here. But she was a cool chick. We kind of like knew some of the same people, so it kind of made sense. Also, she knew what I did. She didn't have a problem with it. So, I mean, that was really cool. She didn't really hassle me about it beyond the one time she found out. Like, oh my gosh, you're this guy. Then she didn't hassle me after it, right? And she let me do my thing for the most part. She would still get a little jealous from time to time, but for the most part, let me do my own thing. And we didn't really even fight that much. But the reason why she was surprised when it ended was because it just seemed like I just dumped her for no reason. And it wasn't until we had a conversation that I told her the reason why was just, I called her out. I just said, you were way too selfish. She was like, what do you mean? Oh, I did this, I did that, I did that. She started like running off all these things that just normal people too, even if you're friends with them. And I'm like, see, the fact that you're placing value on those things is the reason why I'm no longer with you. I mean, those are just things that you're supposed to do in any relationship. But I went above and beyond that, because, I mean, believe it or not, I'm a pretty good guy, right? Pat myself on the back. I mean, I'm pretty kind, I'm pretty generous. It's just how I am. That's me, right? That's how I am. When I'm dating something, I mean, it just, I like to do things if I have free time. I'll just do them subconsciously, right? Like, for her, there were times where, like, I just would, like, go all the way to her place and take care of her dog, because she worked a couple of days during the week where she, 2 days during the week, she had to go into her office, right? The rest of the time she was remote. So I would go and pick up the dog just so she wouldn't have to stay alone, and, take her out with me and Cash. I'm like, it's not a big deal. I could do that, right? I mean, I love animals and I'm pretty free right now. So I would do that. And there were other things that I would do. I mean, this was a while ago now. Oh, like she was moving. I mean, I didn't like help her move. She had movers, but she needed to bring her place to like a public storage. So I was like, oh yeah, I have an SUV. I could do that. Like, yeah, come on, like bring your stuff down. We'll bring it over there. I mean, because I was seeing her, right? That's just stuff you do when you're seeing the girl. But I mean, I was kind of like going a little above and beyond. That's just how I am, right? If I'd go into a store and there was something that I knew she liked, I would just get it. She didn't need to ask me for it. I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's a couple of bucks. Fine. That's not a big deal. I just do that. I do stuff like that. Even if I'm just friends with somebody, right? And it's like a guy friend of mine. I give them the same treatment, right? So I do the same thing for even guy friends. So it's not like, oh, you're simping to your girl. No, I do that for everybody. I do that that's just how I am, right? However, when it's not appreciated and when it goes beyond, like, to the point where the person doesn't even recognize it, or they just expect it and they become entitled and think like I owe them that, that's when the relationship is over. And you know what, I'm not just picking on her, because I had to end a couple of relationships with like guy friends who became like that. They were just, you know, they started making everything about them, like chicks. And no shock, I mean, these guys were like, they were more like childhood friends, or they were more like blue pill, so they weren't red pill, and they were still kind of like caught up in their emotions. So that's usually a recipe for disaster. It's hard for red pill guys to be friends with blue pill guys, right? But again, these guys were from my childhood, so it's not like we're not friends at all. It's just that I don't hang out with them anymore. That's the reason. Just like with this chick. I mean, if she ever wants to text or call, whatever, I'm happy to talk to her, and sometimes she does text, right? I have no problem with her, but it's the fact that while we were dating, I'm like, you did not appreciate what I did for you, right? There's a lot of things I did. And the funny thing was, one of the last times, like, I saw her, I was picking her up from her friend's birthday, right, that they had at this restaurant. I was supposed to go, but I was busy working, but I was like, we'll do something after. And then so I came to go pick her up from that, and we're going to get dessert after. And I remember her girlfriend, like, telling her, like, she was telling her about how, you know, I pick up the dog, and you know, I just do these little things. And I mean, she was just telling her just as if, like, very blasé, as if it didn't matter. And her girlfriend was like, you should appreciate him. She goes, that's really great. She was like, and she kind of knew me indirectly, but she was like, wow, Matt does that stuff? And she was like, yeah, you know. And then her girlfriend was like, girl, you got a good guy. She was like telling her, that's awesome that he does that. That's awesome. He takes his time to do these things. And, you know, that's actually hard to find, girl. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah. And she ended up telling me about it. And even the way she was telling me was like very blasé. And I was like, okay, I just felt underappreciated. It's not like I expect a trophy or anything for just things I do just out of my normal generosity or kindness, but a little appreciation would be good, right? And I don't feel like she treated me with that. I felt like she was a bit too entitled. And, you know, it was unfortunate, but I decided to just end it. And I just, you know, I essentially just told her, like, she noticed that I wasn't calling her as much, I wasn't coming around as much, I wasn't responding to her as much. So she started, I mean, she didn't even really take the hint, but she started to go, hey, where are you? Why come you're not calling me and all this? And then we finally had to have the conversation, you know. And I told her, and I just said, you know, she was like, well, you know, I can work on that. And I'm like, yeah, it's very hard to change people, right? And I'm like, you know, I think it's better you find somebody else that is kind of like you, right? And I mean, and my whole thinking is like, she'll end up appreciating me after the fact. Like most of these girls, once it's over, then they appreciate me after the fact. Just like girlfriends you've done, they don't appreciate you till after the fact, then they want you back, but then it's too late, right? Like now, I'm with a chick now I'm very happy with. She appreciates me. I mean, it's nothing like overboard where she's like, oh yes, Matt, you do all these things. No, it's just like, oh my God, thank you. You know, like grabs my hand, gives me a kiss, you know, well, she'll like just like massage my hand or rub my neck or something. These little things will keep guys around. She does these little things that are, you know, I wouldn't even say selfless, just generous, right? That are nice, that obviously, you know, I ended up getting rid of my dating rotation because I was like, okay, I'm getting everything I need from this one person right now. So will that change in the future? Maybe. Who knows the future, right? And if it does, then I will happily move on just the same. But so far, everything's gravy. Can't complain. But if, you know, for these chicks who are not treating you right, guys, you don't need to stay. Understand that, right? You have better things to do with your time. I mean, even if you don't have another chick to jump to, don't worry about it. Just go focus on yourself. Don't allow yourself to be mistreated like daily and underappreciated, because that's exhausting. right? It's super exhausting. But as always, drop your comments below, fellas. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video, anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to share, anything I might have missed. Drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you there. And with that said, I am going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on my YouTube channel. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton when you guys actually subscribe to my channel. So please make sure you're subscribed, and also feel free to share my coaching videos with other like-minded friends of yours who also want to become their best versions of themselves. Not only do I want you to subscribe, but I also want you to tell your friends about our channel and have them subscribe as well so we can reach other men. Okay? And for you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill, gold pill, and platinum pill content even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I am teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I am talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, the exact same type of women that myself and my students are out there cold approaching and bringing into our lives every single week. And I kid you not, guys, we're doing this every single week. We're doing this consistently, okay? Consistently. We're not having any dry spells or anything like that. We're doing this consistently. This is the absolute best way to support my work. And right now it's only $1. This is the absolute best way to support my work. So if you love what I do, if you love my content, if you love my DeLorean, I love this car, then jump into 7 Months to Mastery. It's real easy to get signed up. All you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It only takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.